Okay, we're kind of changing directions in the channel a little bit about travel, and I'm trying to see if there's other people in the same situation. We're going to do a vlog style video about thinking about living outside of the United States and why. I want to show you my situation, you know, where I live, how I live, and how at 60 years old and retired I really can't really afford to do a lot. So I'm going to show you the front of my house and talk a little about how I've lived over the years, and see if there's people in the same situation. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to go out front. I'm going to show you a little bit about my house, and we're not going to edit none of this. You know, it's going to be shoot from the hip, vlog style. This is what it is. So I live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I raised a family in this house. I didn't overbuy. I bought a very frugally thought out house. It's 1,200 square feet. I live in I have a pretty good life here. I have good neighbors. I have access to the Feather River. I have the mountains by my house. I live in California, so I have a lot going for me, but the problem is, at 60 years old and retired, I can't hardly afford to do anything. You know, the cost of everything has gone up so much so I'm going to walk out here so you can this is my house. It's nothing fancy. You know, this house was built in like 59, I believe. Good quality house. And I bought this and I raised a family in this house. 1,200 square feet, 1 bath. And I'm just going to walk you kind of on the property. And you know, we never bought new cars. We bought used cars. This is my truck that I have now, which is a 99 Ford F-150. And I paid like $4,000 for. So I haven't lived like an extravagant lifestyle. But what I find is it's getting harder and harder to really afford to live here with the insurance. So I'm a mechanic, so this is a project. These are things that I have to do to make do and be able to keep my bills paid, even though I have a retirement and I'm getting ready to get Social Security. So this is my Harley. This is one that I bought that I'm hoping to make some money on. This is my other Harley that I've had forever that I won't get rid of. And like this, I paid $6,000 for this bike used. I've never bought a new vehicle ever. So this is my property, you know, just a basic house. You know, I have a good life here. I got a good space. I got a great garden area. I'll walk you around. I want you to get an idea of what my life looks like and why thinking about going to the Philippines and seeing what the life is like there, because it's so much cheaper to live. You know, I just got my PG&E and it's over $500 this month. So we got a nice outside area. We got garden areas. We have a decent property here. I have a garage. But what's happened is, the only reason why I'm showing you all this, I want you to get a full picture on my lifestyle. You know, I got a big garden area here. We got a couple of vehicles out here. My motorhome's parked in the back, just like my motorhome. I bought that used for $7,000, and I did some work on it, so I didn't have to buy something brand new. And I've spent my whole life like that. And here's my situation. So here's our little pool. And this is a good example. This is what we use for a pool every year. You know, a Walmart, you know, basic little pool, because you know, we don't live outside our means. But the problem is, with insurance going up, utilities going up, gas going up. I'm gonna flip this around just for a second so you guys can see my ugly mug for a minute. So, you know, we're thinking, I never even knew what an expat was until about a week or two ago. So I'm doing the research about, you know, what does it look like if I was to move outside the United States for, say, 7 months out of the year? I think I could actually save money. You know, what do you think? Do you think that's a possibility? And I'm looking at the Philippines, not for a lot of reasons that a lot of guys do. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I have a good woman in my life, and I'll tell you a little bit about my situation, how I ended up in the financial situation I'm in. I was married for 40 years, had a great marriage, financially had things pretty much set, and I lost my wife to pancreatic cancer in 33 days. Sorry if the lighting's not quite right. I'm just trying to shoot from the hip type thing here. And so what happened, I lost half of my income in my life. So I had to start scrambling because I had no way to pay my bills. And that's, that was a problem on my part that I didn't think it out. I thought my life out as far as if something happened to me, my wife was going to be taken care of. And I did that. Had something happen to me, she would have not had to worry about nothing. But I never thought about what would happen if she passed. And it left me in a bad spot. I lost half my income. My credit went from perfect credit to not knowing how I was going to pay my bills. And I actually had to go back to work. I was retired for 5 years, and I actually had to go back to work and start making money to keep my bills paid. And what I'm looking at is, I'm thinking, I don't have kids at home no more. I have a good woman in my life, and my kids are grown, and I don't get to see them very often. But I think I could see them just as much as I do now if I was living outside the United States. And I'm trying to see, and leave comments if you have opinions about this, that I really think I could go to the Philippines if I enjoyed it and stayed for a year or two, and maybe put some money away and be able to make some investments that I wouldn't be able to do. Because right now, I'm just paying bills. That's all I'm doing. If my car was to break down, lose the motor or transmission, I'd be in a bad spot right now. Man, I have a bad habit of not looking at that camera. I apologize for that. But right now, you can see I don't live a crazy life. I live in a small house. I don't drive a fancy car. I try to go on trips when I can, and that's how the channel got started, was, how can you save money by going on trips where you didn't have to stay the night in a hotel. And the reason for that is because my finances retired doesn't allow it now. And there's a lot of people in this situation that are just keeping their bills paid, In the United States, the fuel and the cost of housing and the cost of medical care and the cost of prescriptions has gotten to the point that people that are retired can't stay retired now because it costs so much. I live in California, which is the most expensive state in the United States where you could live. So I'm a good example of, I really think I could go, and I haven't been to the Philippines, so I'm just making this, so if you have this idea in your head, maybe go check it out, because you got nothing to lose. I lost my wife in 33 days from pancreatic cancer, and I realized, time is not guaranteed. You don't know what your life's going to bring. And right now, I'm 61. I got maybe 15, 18, 20 years. I don't know. Maybe 5. You just don't know. So why not go on an adventure and go to a place where I can afford to live and actually have a good quality of life and not have to spend every nickel I have to keep the PG&E on and to keep my car registered. So, if you have those kind of thoughts yourself, if you're retired or you're thinking about retiring and you're penciling it out and you're realizing, man, it's going to be tough to live on this fixed income, follow along with us. We're going to the Philippines. Come January, we're going to make a 2-week trip to the Philippines, and we're just going to see what it's all about. And I've done a lot of research, and I'm gonna pass that research on to you, where you don't have to spend 10,000 hours reading and looking at videos, and maybe I can bring the information to you. And I'm a pretty happy guy. I don't get excited about much, and I think that me and Betsy, I think that if everything pans out overseas, we're really seriously thinking about going and spending a year over in the Philippines. And follow along, because it's going to be a fun trip. We're going to show you how much it costs, how to get there, what to expect, what the weather's like, and we're not going to sugarcoat nothing. It's going to be, this is what it is. This is what we experienced. This is how we did things while we were there. And so the plan is a 2-week trip in January. I'm going to do the research. I just ordered a map of the Philippines the other day that I can put on the wall, and a book that kind of goes through the traveling of the Philippines. But I wanted to do to see my house and realize I don't live a crazy, overexpenditure lifestyle, and I still can't afford to live here in California on my retirement and my pension. So I'm just scrambling, trying to figure out, how can I live a better quality of life with less money? And that's my only options is learn how to do that or work more. And honestly, I don't want to work till I'm 80. I'm sure there's people out there that don't mind working till they're 80. But, I think once you've worked, I've been working since I was 14 years old. I'm an ASE certified master mechanic for 40 years. I made decent money most of my life. I raised 2 kids and a wife and bought a house, and now I'm to my retirement age, and I can't even afford to go to the movies on the weekend. So, if you're in that same situation, give us your subscription. We're gonna do these vlog style videos, and hopefully, you find some quality content or some good information for you. And if you do have opinions, put them down there. I want to hear them. Do you think this is a reality? Do you think that it's a pipe dream, or what do you think? I'm making plans to go on a trip to the Philippines in January, and we're gonna go spend 2 weeks over there. We'll probably land in Manila and go see Cebu and a few other islands like Siquijor, and so there's some cool places over there to go see, and we're going to go do the traveling for you and show you what it's all about. Dumaguete is a place that I'm really interested in, like spending some time, but 2 weeks ain't much time, so we're going to go 2 weeks, experience the weather, experience the culture, the people, do some food eating over there, and just report back to the channel. And maybe there's people like us that are thinking about, how can I extend my dollar? Just for instance, you can rent a nice place in the Philippines for about $600 a month. Right now here, if you was try to rent a place in the Bay Area, it'd be $4,000 a month. And right here where I live right now, the rent is like, $1,800 a month. Over there it's $600. So that just shows you that there's a big savings that can be had by living abroad. I never knew what an expat was, but that's what they call us, expats, when we're living outside the United States. So anyway, if you would, ring the bell, all that stuff they want you to do. And then if you would, give us your subscription. We're trying to build a community here, and day trippers is going to end up being overseas trippers, I think. We'll see what goes on. I'm out.